Well, here we go again, and I'm feeling okay for an old geezer. How about you? In case you haven't seen me before, well, you're lucky. My name is Herman Scuttle, and I have a lot to say, and I'm saying it. First of all, I'll give you some news items that just crossed the wire. A Virginia woman named Anna Prilliman found a box of love letters in her attic. Apparently they were left behind by the previous homeowners. There were hundreds of sweet love letters right there in that box. Now, Ms. Prilliman said that her favorite of all those love letters was as follows. Honey, you grow on me the way Yersinia bacteria grows on spoiled bacon. Also in the news, an Idaho man by the name of David Rush set a world record by walking half a mile with a lawnmower balanced on his chin. Mr. Rush has an unusually large chin. And you know what they say about guys with big chins? They say, wow, that's a big chin. Also in the news, and finally in the news, a New York-based auction house is offering a cigar butt once smoked by Michael Jordan. Bidding starts at $500. Now, you may not like cigars, but you have to admit that Michael Jordan is the Michael Jordan of Michael Jordans. Now then, I told you I've got a lot to say, and I'm saying it. And I'm saying that I like the American flag. And if I do, that's my business. But don't worry about it, because it has value to me. The American flag, it has value to me. But it doesn't mean that I get to rub it in your face. The flag is symbolic of the team that I've always played for. Like when we wear hats, showing our loyalty to the Red Sox or the Yankees or the Mets. And of course, you'll find a few bad years in the standings, but somehow team allegiance withstands. My red, white, and blue team has had some dismal seasons with imperfect overseers running the show. I mean, take your pick. From Washington to Biden. You want John Adams or John Quincy Adams? Andrew Johnson or Lyndon Johnson? William Harrison or Benjamin Harrison? Teddy Roosevelt or Franklin Roosevelt? Senior Bush or Junior Bush? Tricky Dick or Don the Con? None of them, not one of them, the consummate manager. It's always better luck next year. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. Well, all of this brings to mind the American flag that I found in the mud. It was a small flag, and it was from the cemetery. It was apparently dislodged from a headstone, and it blew onto Wacona Street and landed in the gutter. It was filthy, and it was crushed. Feet and tires had mashed the flag into a slimy mess. I tried to ignore it. But no! I picked up that flag, and I wrung it out and I put it in my pocket. And at home, I gave this little flag a good wash and dry. Look, I won't be waving that flag in your face. But, well, how could I? It's tacked to my wall in my apartment. And you'll never hear me say my country right or wrong. I'm just a conditioned old geezer pledging allegiance to a fabrication of stars and stripes. Must be a generational thing. And now, I think I'll bring you back to 1989. Where were you in 1989? As for me, I was living in 1989 in the borough of Brooklyn in New York City. That was the first year I was there. First year when I moved to New York City, 1989. And I said good morning to the waterfront down at the Red Hook Terminal, down where President Street begins. And now Governor's Island was right out there, and Statue of Liberty was out there further. I was dancing on the edge of a new frontier. It was my first week in the neighborhood. It was the last year of Koch up the East River in the mansion by Hellgate. I was new. I was wearing a mad face for the locals. I was expressing a posture of death defiance, exploring my new home turf. I was dancing on the edge of a new frontier. Yes, the three-story walk-ups, the corner bodega, the corner bakery, the corner where Joey Gallo used to live, the Italian social club, the video store, Mrs. Migliori and her junkie son on the corner of Union and Hicks, Ferdinando's Focacceria, and the BQE bordering Carroll Gardens. Now, I was hoping to adapt fast to my new environs, or being shamed as a rank outsider. I was dancing on the edge of a new frontier. I was expecting to find my own voice, aspiring to be an original pea and vinegar poet on the New York City circuit, or maybe a lukewarm prodigy, or at least a little yeast in the whole batch of dough. See, I still had the second half of my life out in front of me. Then and now, finding a place among the commonplace earned me more good than bad. And so now, so what if the edge is dull and there's no more frontier? I still remember all the steps if I feel like dancing. And how about a song? Okay, I wrote this one for you just last night. Just for you. Just last night. Just for you. Woke up this morning, saw the rivers about to overflow. I said I woke up this morning, saw the rivers about to overflow. I said the levee's gonna fail and the dam is gonna blow. And I woke up this morning, had to run for higher ground. I woke up this morning, had to run for higher ground. Because there ain't no future in getting drowned. Well, the rain coming in, heavy rain, raining like hell. Apocalypse, maybe. You can never tell. Well, the river keeps rising, flood coming up to my knees. The river keeps rising, flood coming up to my knees. You know, if I drown, I ain't gonna rest in peace. Come on, you liked it. You liked it. Now, here is something about Mcdermott. You probably don't know Mcdermott. I'm the one who observes people like Mcdermott. And so let me tell you about Mcdermott. How about that? Concerning Mcdermott, at least he was there in attendance at the funeral. Anyone could see that he was one of the principal characters among the bereaved. Mcdermott, that distinguished man helping to carry the casket, he was the pallbearer in handcuffs. And Mcdermott just wanted to kick something because of his incarceration, he blew away any chance for a final visit with his mother. She had the broken hip. She was comatose. It put Mcdermott in a high degree of bother. Mcdermott, doing time, caught for breaking and entering. He said he was stranded in the freezing cold and had to bust into a Berkshire's summer home to rest. Well, he resisted arrest, but he also was able to lawyer down to serving just 6 months for trespassing. Mcdermott, maddened and shamed and wrangling with grief. No real comfort in knowing exactly what his mother would say, if she could say it. She would say, "Honey, people are watching the way you act more than they're listening to what you say." Well, he just wanted to kick something. But at least the sheriff let him out to pay respects. Mcdermott, the distinguished man helping to carry the casket, the pallbearer in handcuffs. I really don't want to tell you about this guy, but I have to. I told you at the beginning I have a lot to say, and I'm saying it, so I'll tell you about Donald Peewee Gaskins. It's an ugly story. You can move away from your television for a minute if you don't want to hear it. But I'm going to say it anyway. Donald Peewee Gaskins was born in March of 1933 in Florence County, South Carolina. He was called Peewee because he stood at 5 feet 4 inches tall. Donald Peewee Gaskins eventually became a serial killer. He was convicted of killing 15 people, but he claimed that he murdered many more. Donald Peewee Gaskins would brutally torture his victims, and sometimes he would cannibalize them. He was not a good guy. Actually, you might say he was a depraved, low-life, bloodthirsty psychopath. Donald Peewee Gaskins was a bad man. But he did the world a favor in 1991. He killed himself in prison. At least he died doing what he loved. questions and answers. Aha. Well, I have a number of questions and answers coming in from people like you. Here they are. I'll do my best. This first question is from a man named Norton Ironbelly. And Norton Ironbelly asks, hey, Herman, what's all this about denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance? Well, that's the 5 stages of rising gasoline prices. Next, we have a question from Bathsheba Ditz. She comes from West Stockbridge. Herman, what's the best way to determine the numerical value of pi? Oh, I can tell you my favorite way is to divide the circumference of the moon by its diameter, and then you'll have pi in the sky. Barry Birdflu from Housatonic asks, Herman, what's the most recent book you've read? Well, to tell you the truth, I've been reading Prostate A to Z, but I just can't pass P. Here's one from Amanda Stroblight, and she's from Great Barrington. Herman, has the word boycott been canceled? Yes. Yes. Instead of saying boycott, you now must say gender fluid futon. And finally, a question from Pamela Chicken Eggs from New Marlboro. Herman, what do you think about delivery services like Instacart, DoorDash, and Grubhub? Well, I think it might be time for the milkman to make a comeback. Okay. You see this? You see this right here from my neck up? You see this? This is my Thursday face. Huh? I said, this is my Thursday face. And up until yesterday, Wednesday, I functioned well enough. But functioning well enough burns me out. And when Thursday comes around, I have nothing. Nothing except anxiety in anticipation about the coming weekend. And then on the weekend, I'm desperate for a change of pace, thinking that maybe I can get some rest and recuperation. But I try so hard to find rest and recuperation that where and when it's available, I'm too freaked out to get that R&R, and it passes me by. Thursday, named after the Norse god Thor with his big hammer. Thursday, when I look hammered. Yeah, this is my Thursday face. But you be careful, because sometimes you are what you see. Well, this very morning, I was doing much the same that you do first thing in the morning, pouring my first cup of coffee and easing into another day. I was savoring the peace and quiet of early morning nothing. You know, nothing compares to the hush and the serenity at moments like that in small town USA. But I heard a strange noise, a disturbing metallic clatter. What was it? I'll tell you what it was. It was a group of tap dancers in the middle of the road, 10, 12, maybe 15 pairs of happy feet, tap dancing on the pavement, moving along in a slow procession, waving their arms, and wearing crazy smiles. Clickety-clackety, click, click, click. Clickety-clackety, click, click, click. Tap dancers in the middle of the road, first thing in the morning. I said, okay, this is peculiar, but I've seen other sights just as weird and wonderful first thing in the morning. Like the time my junkie neighbor seized the day by teaching the lamppost how to do the moonwalk. I know. I shouldn't be judgmental about anything, especially I shouldn't be judgmental about you, but I see your face in the trash can, an apparition in the refuse pile, and you don't look happy there, but apparently that's what you want. And what a waste. I cleaned up my act for you when you were down in the dumps. It was at your disposal, and you hated that. You want a man who treats you like garbage. Yeah, I see your face in the trash can, your countenance in the circular file, and you don't look happy there. Hey, maybe I'll call up the zoo and have them drop off a few monkeys, just for the fun of it, just for you, right there at the bottom of the barrel. Also, the other night I saw you at the poetry night at the art gallery, and there you were. You stood stooped shoulders, right there where the light was hot. You were howling a hollow howl, getting hot and physical, bobbing and weaving, trying to connect with the smart new beatnik crowd who are starved for emotional impact, same as you. And around midnight, you were declared sweetheart of the poetry slam. Then you ran to the John and kissed the mirror until it cracked. And how about me? How about goofy old me? I was driving on the Mass Pike, heading in the direction of the Cape. I was comparing and contrasting the whoosh noise of the highway traffic with the sound of waves hitting the beach. And then I was noting how roadkill and dead fish remind me of mortality. And then my heart palpitation suggested sudden death as I saw and heard a statey forcing me to pull over. The trooper said, "You've been driving under the speed limit and you keep swerving over to the shoulder." I said, I guess I was daydreaming. The trooper said, "Well, how about I give you a warning for being stuck on stupid?" That's all for today. I had a lot to say. I said it, and I feel great. This is Herman Scuttle. So long until next time.